This is Michael. This is Nathaniel. I am Jordan. How are you? Get ready to watch the Body Snatchers. You guys are ready to watch the Body Snatchers? You guys
I
just gotta.
thought watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre would be the most uncomfortable I felt today, but I was wrong.
After this, I'm gonna go watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre for my comfort movie.
I love you guys.
Oh, I love you.
Love you.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1978. When strange seeds drift to Earth from space, mysterious pods begin to grow and invade San Francisco, California, where they replicate the residents into emotionless automatons, one body at a time.
I like this movie. I had fun with it. I sort of liked the campy sci-fi kind of vibe. I'm not sure if it was genuinely campy 70s or if it was trying to be an homage to 50s movies. But either way, it was fun. I thought, in a lot of ways, the characters made many choices throughout the film that didn't quite make sense, and it dragged a little bit in the first couple acts, but by the time it got to the end of the movie, in the last act, I felt like it kind of settled and figured out what it was trying to be, and the last act of the movie I thought was a lot of fun, and a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
And so overall, it was positive thoughts.
I would say that this movie is alright. I think that it kind of dragged for me for the most part. Some of the character choices did kind of annoy me. The special effects in this movie are actually pretty good. I think they held on to one of the puppets for too long because it just when they were making the babies. But overall, I think this movie's alright.
I think this is probably one of the most mixed bag movies I've seen, where there are certain things I really, really like about this movie and certain things I really, really don't. I'd maybe go middling out average overall. I think one of my biggest issues with it is that I don't think it really knows exactly what sort of movie it is. I think there, like Nathaniel said, there's certain elements that kind of seem like they're going for a sort of cheesy sci-fi B-movie style of film. But then there's also times the film takes itself way too seriously.
Yeah.
And not in a self-aware, funny way. And I felt like I would have loved this movie if it was one or the other. If it was either a film that took itself seriously and was a gritty, realistic version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, or if they went ahead and made it actually ridiculous and made the Body Snatchers these comical, ridiculous comic book villains, and had some funny moments and made it a little bit more lighthearted. It's just, I feel like overall it was going for the tone of being a more serious film, and it was not believable enough for me. It's not believable enough for me that these body snatchers have invaded every single branch of the government and every single form of criminal justice and everyone within this city without anyone else seemingly fighting it or fighting back or questioning it over a span of 3 days.
Yeah, the fact that only these 4 people, random people, just caught on to what was going on.
Yeah, it seems as though the process itself takes a little bit at least. There's certainly elements I like. There's several shots I really love that I really thought were haunting and creative, artistically done. There's multiple shots in the film that I really appreciated. I felt conveyed ideas and themes well. I also had my fair share of problems with it. Also, maybe one of the most unnecessary romantic relationships in a movie. I feel like there's slight indications of, okay, yeah, maybe they're interested in each other. And then they're just fleeing from a monster and they have 5 seconds together alone in the dark and they just start kissing. And that's it.
Lazily, too. It's not even we're kissing in the heat of passion because there's adrenaline or anything. They practically fall asleep and their lips accidentally touch.
Yeah, he just looks at her. He's like, "Oh, there are lips here. I guess I'll kiss them." And that's it. And I don't know. I can't imagine a single person on earth that watched this movie is like, "Oh, my favorite part was the relationship."
I do like the cast in this film. I feel like Like, especially Donald Sutherland, Jeff Goldblum, Leonard Nimoy, and Donald Sutherland all did pretty good job with the script they had.
Donald Sutherland also did, I think, a great job.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
That sort of stuck out to me. And it just seems like... Also, I don't think you can mention this, but I did like the reaction that Donald Sutherland gave to it. I think his was a little bit more nuanced and interesting. But
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting when, like, you have... This is kind of, in a lot of ways, a post-apocalyptic film. You know, it's about seeing society crumble. And I sure wish, like, I could have seen more of society crumble, see how this infiltration actually happens. Because I guess the whole point of it is just that it happens overnight and you don't realize it. But it cannot. Like, things don't spread that quickly. And people are too obstinate and stubborn and paranoid. And I think I'd be much more interested in hearing that story rather than the people playing footsie in the dark because monsters were chasing them.
That's the other interesting thing, too. It's funny how much, given that the body snatchers do pretty much take over everyone on the planet except these 4 people,
Yeah.
the fact that they still kind of keep human society going is a little weird. Like, even
Yeah.
at the very end of the movie,
Yeah.
they're still taking kids to school. And it's like, why?
Yeah. This is one movie that I think could be remade pretty well. I feel like Denis Villeneuve or Luca Guadagnino could probably take this, and like I would love to see what they would do
Oh,
with it.
yeah.
Both two people that I trust with remakes.
I'd maybe prefer Villeneuve just because I've seen a little bit more like imagination, creativity on his part.
Mhm.
But
Overall, I think this movie is pretty alright. I feel like the bones of it are pretty good. I like the actual story of it. I like the way they portray the body snatchers at the very beginning, like coming to Earth, and I like some of the special effects. Some of the characters are portrayed pretty well. It has a pretty solid cast, but overall, I still think it's all right.
yeah, I agree. I think it's a mixed bag. I think whether or not I would recommend this depends on where you are in like your process of working through horror movies. I think if you're your little green bean, you're new coming into the scene, and you wanna see all like the definitive classics, I think there's much better classics to start with than this that will get you more excited for the genre. If you've really worked your way through most of the, definitive classics and basic horror movies, I do think it's worth watching, but I would definitely put it later on the list. I think there's way better options to get you introduced to horror. There are definitely fun elements. There are unique things that does make it stand out on its own. As I said, great cinematography, great performance by all the cast. Donald Sutherland does a really interesting job. Great practical effects, and the concept is interesting. It's just, I think there's more potential than fulfillment in this movie.
Yeah, I would probably recommend this movie both as like a horror classic and I mean just like an older sci-fi classic. It's certainly in the cultural sphere and memorable and worth watching for that reason. And there's plenty of moments I think where the movie is aware of what it's trying to be. And for those moments, even though there could be more of them, those moments still work. So I'd recommend it for that reason. Donald Sutherland, Leonard Nimoy, and Donald Sutherland, all just great in this.
I forgot to mention that.
I would recommend this movie. I had fun with it, and I think if you like horror or sci-fi, you would also have fun with it.
Starring Donald Sutherland. Donald Sutherland.
Donald Sutherland.
Donald Sutherland.
And Donald Sutherland. There's Jennings.
Now, was Milton saying being bad is more fun than being good?
Boy, Donald Sutherland, what a guy.
What a guy. All right. Okay, Jordan, what's next?
Alrighty, next we got Texas Chainsaw Massacre coming up. It's kind of, I think it started out the slasher genre, kind of kicked it off. It's bleak, and I look forward to talking to it with you guys. Anyway, like and subscribe and do whatever you want. Dang well, please. I don't know, get on my face. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.